This matters now to our guest host. Robert Nardelli is a former chief executive officer providing leadership to Home Depot and Chrysler. He knows that the best laid strategy can be absolutely crushed by the changing whims of your customer. Bob Nardelli on the death of the Big Mac and the classic bottle of Coca-Cola. I mean, here are two big companies, much like what you faced before, and yet their main product all of a sudden was challenged. I mean, a 2x4 was never challenged at Home Depot, right?
Well, it is interesting. You know, when we were there, we had what we called Orange Works, and we were driven for product innovation. We introduced Ryobi, we introduced Rigid, you know, the multiple tools off of one battery. And McDonald's, you know, and certainly Coca-Cola are challenged by size. The bigger you get, the harder it is to move your needle on same-store sales.
What's the best practice for a CEO not to screw up the core product?
Well, I think we had a strategy of enhancing the core, extending the business, and then expanding the market. So you can never take your eye off the fundamentals that got you there, the need for customer centricity, net promoter scores, to always make sure you're in tune with where your customer base is going, not where they've been.
Did you ever face a challenge where I don't want a hamburger, I need something from Chipotle, or I don't want a Coca-Cola, I need a vitamin water or whatever?
Well, you know,
those are huge changes.
Those are big changes, but you talk about Coke, and I was privileged to be on the Coke board for a while, and they got it. I mean, if you look at their product differentiation, from certainly the carbonated to the diet to the expansion, you know, they are very sensitive to the customer's perception of dietary health. You know, they got into juices, they got into water in a big way. So I thought they did a great job of product innovation.
Where have they stumbled recently? Are you still on the board?
I'm not on the board.
So where have they stumbled recently?
Well, I think if you look recently, you know, the old adage I learned from Jack Welch was don't forget what you learned. You know, Roberto was there and sold the bottlers. They brought the bottlers back, and of course now they're under pressure on return on capital deployed. And you know, running a bottling company has a lot of capital, a lot of capital.
What you've brought up is the heart of it, and I don't hear this enough in the media, which is the exercise of leadership is really an exercise of how much capital to put where.
Yes.
Two parts, how much and then where to put it. Discuss that.
Well, certainly today the activists are much more tuned into the use of capital and the return on capital to the shareholders. So you're exactly right. The strategy has to be, where do I deploy it, not only for a return, but how does it enhance my image with my customers? Am I really You cannot be more laser focused on your customers, customer trends, demographics, and change. Change is the only constant today in the business environment, Tom.
I mean, you look at McDonald's and the immense challenges there of really a dietary shift with the new dietary guidelines coming out from the U.S. Huge shift there.
Yeah, I mean, even if you go all the way back to the crops, I mean, we're seeing major shifts in what was engineered grains for volume to now going to non-engineered, gluten-free, and commanding a much higher price per bushel.
And the break exclusive here, folks, in the last 24 hours, I think eggs are okay again. Maybe McDonald's will bring back the 24/7 egg McMuffin.